Hey, hey, hey. Hello, everyone. It's really nice to be here. That's my first Laracon, and also my first time at the stage. So let's get right into it. So let me just initialize this. Mirror slideshow. So my name is Mathias Grimm, and I work as a tech support engineer for Laravel. I joined in November last year, and I'm actually from a very tiny city in the south of Brazil called Santo Augusto. And I've been working with PHP since version 4.3.6, which is pretty old. And as we'll see throughout the slides, I have limited joking skills. So let's get started to talk about advanced image processing with PHP. So we usually don't think of PHP as the first thing to use for processing image. You might think about some C++ or some other languages, but I actually will show that PHP makes this also possible. So the slides go in a way that is, we start with some theory, and then we do some live coding as well. So let's talk about Cisarti. So Cisarti is this app that I actually built, and it came out of a necessity for my wife. So my wife is actually an artist. She paints using her iPad, and so she can sell her art on this e-commerce. So that's how it started. So it had no automation at all. So it was a lot of manual work, also human error, and she was spending basically most of the time doing non-core business tasks, which is like updating products and that kind of stuff that is really boring. So since she was doing like digital art, she could sell in any material, like any kind of frame, any size, any color. So if you multiply all these possibilities here, for example, we can see, for example, the material. So she has a few options. Then on the size, a few options, and for colors, the same thing. So she could have over like 200 variants per product. So that's a lot. And on top of that, we actually needed 24 images per product, so we can actually display all the colors and the frame types. And so this was really painful. The image part was partially automated with Photoshop, but it was still really bad. So initially she had like 100 products, and it would take like 10 minutes to create a product, and then 10 to fix some human error, and then to update price she would spend another 10, or description, images, and so on. But everything was okay. So the situation was really unsustainable. Like you cannot grow like that, and whenever you have to change prices or description, you have to go through all the products. So we needed to automate. So we actually booked an Airbnb, and Cisarti was actually born on that Airbnb. So we just decided, yeah, let's focus real quick, and I can get some deep focus, and that's how Cisarti was actually born. So this is all my belongings since I was born, like my toys, my clothes, everything I have since I'm born. So that's all I have. And these are my wife's essentials. But actually 50% of it, not everything. So, and then, so we actually drove about 2,000 kilometers and to get to the Airbnb, and thanks Honda for that. And so then when we got there, I just started like Cisarti, like just automate, connect using APIs and stuff. And so that's how it started. So we had a few goals in mind, like considering the issues we had actually. So we wanted to create a product in 1 minute or less, and we wanted to reduce human error, of course, and then, to scale the e-commerce without exponential operational time. So that means like if you want to update the price for one product, it should take 1 minute. But if you want to update the price for 1,000 products, it should also take 1 minute. So that's some of the goals we had right from the beginning. So yeah, SysArtist, so it fixes this exponential operational time. So the artist can focus on, you know, like painting, photography, and everything that they need to do actually. So this is actually, I tried to find the first picture, and this is actually the first picture of me working on SysArtist. So it's from 20th July 2020. And yeah, after the Airbnb, SysArtist actually grew, and we started getting more clients, and everything happened. So SysArtist, to this day, we have helped over 100 artists and art galleries scale their business using the same models that we were doing for my wife initially. So together, all these partners, there's art galleries, artists, we became the biggest dropshipping and printing facility ecosystem, specializing in artwork in Brazil. So it was really unexpected. So these are some pictures from the dropshipping factory that we had there. So just to show a little bit with babies and everything. And we had also some early adopters. So these are them. And when SysArtist was only like a small team, they were already there, and they still are. So really grateful for what they helped SysArtist become. So now let's talk more technical. So we have this diagram here. So SysArtist can do a lot of stuff, like connect with e-commerce, like Shopify, Magento, and a lot of things it does, but we actually want to focus on this specific Mockup Maker part, which is just a service I built for image processing. So my stack is pretty standard. I use Laravel. Queues, I use Laravel Horizon, and Livewire for the front end, and Postgres is the only different one that you might not use so often, but I love Postgres actually. So in terms of numbers, SysArtist, just about images, we process like 5 million, we have already like 5 million images, and we are constantly actually deleting and creating new images so that we actually process much more than that. And we have currently about 100 business-to-business customers, and SysArtist has helped all these artists sell over $10 million in artwork, and that's really good for them. And we have only one employee, which is me, and it's actually profitable because we have only one employee. And we didn't have a website actually up until December last year, so you don't need a website to get started, so just build it. So enters Mockup Maker. So Mockup Maker, this is the same picture I showed before. It's just we try to replace Photoshop, and we automate all that part, and it takes a fraction of the time, and it's so good. I mean, we can do incredible stuff with it. So let's get back to this first image that I showed. So we have this initial image that, for example, my wife would upload to her product, and then we need to generate all these mockups. So now with the Mockup Maker, we achieved that. So all examples here, I just choose to use these dimensions like 860 by 1024, and that means the width is 860, the height is 1024. So just bear that in mind. So what is a mockup actually? So mockup is basically you have two images, and you have like a template image, like here, you guys can see there. And then you have an image that is like an uploaded image. So what we actually want is to place that image in a specific place inside the other image. So you can basically do that with Photoshop, but we can also do that with PHP. So now to get into a more technical side. So we saw in the morning actually that the vectors and that kind of stuff. So that's good because images are actually different than that. So if you think in terms of geometry, you would have like the 0, 0 coordinate right here, for example, or maybe in the middle, depending. But for images, we basically have it starting from the top left edge. So the 0, 0 coordinate is actually there. So that's really important for the talk, and we're gonna go into more details later on. But then we have this top left edge, and we have top right, and bottom left. So we go clockwise that way, and that's how we can navigate the coordinates. So a few things to bear in mind. Nobody likes actually negative margins and stuff like that, because it's just complicated to reason about a few changes. So we actually want to eliminate that at all, and it's pretty easy to do that actually. So we can just resize the images so that they are the same size, they will have the same coordinates, and that means it's much easier to work. It's not mandatory, but it's just much easier. So we take the uploaded image and we use the dimensions from the template, and we just apply them and resize the uploaded image. So it's much easier. So to create a mockup, we have 4 steps, right? So the first one is the one we already briefly talked about. So we have the template with this 860 by 1024 pixels. We have an uploaded image with any size, and we make sure that they are both the same size. So that's the first step. So the second step here is a little bit more complicated. So what you actually want, you want to map this image to this position here. So this corner, this edge, we want to map it to this position here. And I actually added this little border here so that we can see the image moving inside the canvas, but we see the actual size of the canvas. So the first thing we need to do is like top left, and we map it, and we can see the result in here already, like the image is already like where it should be. So the next step is, I mean, the same step, but actually you have to do this step for each of the edges. So we continue doing that, mapping from 860, for example, which is here, to this position right here. That's why I have this big pointer, so you guys can actually. So now we can see already that the two top ones are like top left and right are already done. We see the original image size, and next one is just the same thing. We just apply that for every edge that we have on the image. So this is the last one, which is the bottom left, and then we see the image is already like the size it should be. And the next step is just you get this mapped uploaded image and you merge into the template. So when you do that, you have that result. So that's how it happens. So as the last step, of course, you can just export the final image, and you're going to be using like S3, for example, or something like that. And that's just the last step. So let me show some examples. So I need to see if I can see the texture here. So here is another example, more complicated. The first one I showed is like pretty simple, but this one, it has, for example, this side. So it's like a 3D mockup. It has texture. We can see the texture here, and it's preserved actually after the mockup. And just gonna show this picture that has more zoom, for example. So we had this initial texture that is preserved, and this side also aligns perfectly, and that's yeah, it creates really beautiful images. So we can go crazy and create various things with it. So in this template, we actually have, instead of the user uploading one image, he will upload like 3 images. And on top of the images, we actually we merge also some window reflex, and we do that for the 3 images. And as the last step, for example, we add this computer in front of the frames. So this is really powerful. So how did I do this? Yeah, like I said, I looked into other solutions, but I really wanted to be PHP. So in PHP, you have this 2 image extension, like native extensions. And I don't know how many of you know like GD, for example. GD is also pretty old, like ImageMagick, and it's like simpler. You cannot do a lot of advanced stuff like ImageMagick. So that left us with only one option. So that's the option we picked. And the reason I wanted PHP is just because we have all this, the ecosystem that we already rely on, and that's so good. I mean, all the things that we like. So just a little bit on the ImageMagick side of things. So it was built like 34 years ago, so it's a pretty solid piece of software, and it's being constantly maintained, so it's pretty good. I mean, you can rely on it. It's like really Photoshop for PHP or for any language that you can integrate with that. So it's really powerful. So the availability of it is pretty good also. So Laravel Cloud, Forge, Herd, Vapor, macOS, Linux, Windows, everywhere. Usually it's installed by default on these providers, but you might also install easily if it's not. So let's go to PHP Storm. Or actually first, wait, let me show what we want to do. So this is Photoshop. Although we don't need it, sometimes to create the mockup is still necessary. So we're going to transform, we're going to use the same example that I was showing on the initial slides, which is this frame, and we want to place some uploaded image there, which is going to be using this, and the final result is this. So yeah, that's how we're going to do. So let's get into it. So is the code okay to read? Everybody can hear it? Can read? Okay, so we have a few steps to process this mockup, to create this mockup. Right now, I'm just using, everything is inside this LiveWire component, but usually that's not how you would do in real life. So, but we are short on time, so let's get it started. So we have the first step, which is actually process the template. Right, so that's the first thing, and then we need to process the uploaded image, and final step, export. So we're not gonna do like in order here, so what we want actually is to see the result here as quickly as possible. So we're gonna work on the step 1, and then we already start working on the step 3, so we can actually get some feedback before we mess everything up. So yeah, I have some snippets I will be using here, but I'll also type some stuff. So to create the ImageMagick resource, we need to do something like this. Let's call it template, and then we do new ImageMagick, and we need to pass a path here. So which I already have it here. So this file is just a file inside my resources folder. So that's all we need to do in terms of processing the template. So because the template is already prepared by someone, so somebody already prepared with Photoshop, resize the size it should be, and everything. So we don't need to do any processing here. So for the export image, it's pretty boring, so I'm just gonna copy the entire thing and briefly explain it. Yeah. So it basically gives a name to an image and saves the contents to a public disk. So that's how it does. Let's see if we see any result. All right. So we can already see some stuff going on here. So since we are actually not processing this image, the uploaded image at all, we just get the template. So let's start working on the uploaded image. So here, let's do like uploaded. Not gonna use AI for that. And then we just do like new ImageMagick and ImageMagick. But this time we actually don't have a path for the image because the image is stored in S3, for example. So we have to build the thing differently, which is actually AI. I was lying. I'm going to use that. So to do that, I actually have a LiveWire image upload here, which we just do a get, which is similar to like file get contents. It just gets the content that is in S3 or any disk. So right, so now the same way we did actually with the export final image, we actually want to get this image showing on the screen real quick. So we're gonna jump into this merge step, which just merges this image into the template. So let's do that right here. So the way it works is not called merge, but they call it composite image. So what we do here is we take the original image, or the image that we want something to be merged to, and we just pass it as an argument. So it does everything actually in place, so it doesn't return a new image. So that's something to keep in mind as well. So the other arguments here, we're not going to go through them right now, but yeah, they're not super important here. We just need to know that we merge these two images using this. So let's see if it already works or not. Okay, so it already works. Somehow, yeah, it doesn't work properly. We see that the image is like not properly positioned, but we already see they are kind of blending together, like the colors, and we can see the transparency of some things. So we are in the right track. So let's see what's next, because I actually forgot. So I think we can work on the resize would be nice. So we have this image like this, and it's gonna change slightly. So this is the thing that we do to avoid offsetting, especially negative offsetting. So where is that? Right here. Resize. So here again, just explaining. This time we actually want to apply it only for the uploaded resource and not for the template. Yeah. So we actually want to use the dimensions from the template to resize it. And here again, we have some arguments that is not important now. So if we go back to the screen, we're gonna see a small difference, not much, but already something. Yeah, there you go. So next step, let's check that. So the background transparency. So I'm just going to skip that because I think that's I can show after. So the difference it makes. Let's jump into this map now. So the map is the thing that we showed in the slides, where we actually have the edges like top left, top right, and let me just paste all this code in there, and I'm going to explain it again. So first, let's see if it works somehow. Yeah, it works. It doesn't throw any error, so it's working. So the way we do it is actually simple, but it looks complicated. So we have the top left, and we need to get the coordinates, for example, 0, 0, and move it to something else. For example, let's go back to Photoshop. So the image is going to be here. Like we can see the coordinates here. I don't know. Yeah, on the screen you're not going to see properly, but they will show in here. So here is going to be like 0, 0, if I can click properly. So it shows 0 forward, and we actually want to move it right here, which shows for me like 171, 115. So that's how mapping works. So we want to get the X and Y coordinates. So here I just left them like the from and the to coordinates the same, so that we can slowly change them. Okay, let's do the first one. So this one, like I said, 174, 122. It's not super important to get the pixels super correct. You can do that in our next step. So 122 by, what was it? 172, 115. 172. So this is like really low level stuff. Yeah, we already see some difference in the image, and now I'm gonna go back to the transparency so that you guys can actually see the difference. is also applied only for the uploaded image. This is done in place as well, so it doesn't return a new image. And we just call this cryptic method name, which is set image virtual pixel method, pass some thing saying that's going to be transparent. So that's all we need to know for now. And let's try it. Boom. So we can already see some progress in there, yeah? But what I usually do, like when working with this, is I don't use this image that we have right now, because since everything blends, you cannot properly see like if it's here, like it's just the same color. So I usually have like 2 or 3 control images that I use. One that's green, one that's red. Usually the green one is good enough. So yeah, so here we can see much better. So it looks like it's already aligned there. So let's move to the next edge, which is the top right one. Yeah. So again, here the coordinate is like 860 by 0. That's what we see here. For example, 860 by 0, and we actually want to move it to this position here, which is 694. 694, and I cannot memorize that. 115, and my hands are shaking. So let's see. Yeah, so it starts to look much better now. Yeah. Okay, so let's move to the next one. Yeah, I can see from here that it's not pixel perfect. We're gonna fix that in a second. But let's get all the 4 edges first correctly placed, more or less, on the place they need to be, and then we fine tune it. So the next one, go back to Photoshop. Here again, the initial dimension here was 860 by 1024, and we want to move to 694, 850. So 694, 850, right? Yeah, so it works. I mean, I could just throw any number here, like a 750, for example. We can see the difference. It just goes in a different position, yeah? So I'm not cheating here. And then here again, the last one, let's just get the coordinates here. So the initial coordinate here was 0, 1024, and we actually want to move it to, what is it? 168, 850. Let's do it like that. 168. What was it? 166, 853. Yeah, that should work. Oh, I think I did something wrong. It never takes this long, so I messed up. Yeah, I messed up. You see, when you mess up, it creates different strange artifacts in the image, and let's just fix that. So we actually want it to be 168. What's wrong there? Oh, I'm looking to the wrong one, actually. Sorry, guys. This was already down, was it? Wait, I'm lost now. Okay, so let's work on this again. So this needs to be 696. Let's do it quickly. 696, and this one is 851. Oh, 851, right. Let's see if we're getting anywhere. Yeah, okay, so back in the game now. And let's move to the last one. And the coordinate here was 0, 1024, and we want to move it to 165, right? And then the other one is 851. So it might be similar to this other y coordinate here. They usually, if they are square, they would be, but sometimes they're not. They're perspective or different ones. So here, yeah, now it's working. Let's try with a different control image here. So, yeah, we cannot see properly from the screen here, but I mean, the way it helps using this control image is like we can see like drop shadow interacting with different colors and see if everything lines up. So let's try with the last image. And yeah, so it works. Woo! So let's go back to the slides now. So that's all, folks, I had for today. Let's just ship it. That's done. Hey, any questions? Oh.
Now seems like you guys are awake.
Yeah.
So, no problem.
Yeah, the mic is not working.
I changed the mic, but no problem. By the time you start the mic, we'll keep talking.
Okay.
Am I audible? Yes. Perfect. So how was your experience?
It was actually better than I expected. It was just the worst nightmare I had, like before the talk, but I feel it's okay now, yeah.
Big round of applause for you got so many questions.
Seriously?
More than 50 questions.
I wasn't expecting any, actually.
About it is about image resizing. It is about image optimization. But one of the interesting questions which I would like to ask you, because it's about cross language, I would like to ask Manish Prajapati, is there? Please come downstairs. Okay. So his question is about what are the biggest challenges in handling image processing in PHP and how do you overcome to that? And on top of that, the important question is also, can we compare that with JavaScript or Node.js? So how do you compare PHP?
Yeah, so the first question was what again? The
Image processing.
yeah, so the biggest challenge with image processing with PHP for me was personally nobody does it with PHP. So, I mean, I couldn't find any documentation, anything related to that. And the way I actually had to learn it was get into the ImageMagick, which is not extension. And they use like command line arguments, which are really cryptic. And I tried to translate from one to another, but it's not like a one-to-one mapping. And so that's also what I wanted to, why I wanted to bring this topic here, because there's so much that we can do with PHP, and sometimes it's just not explored enough. And the second part of the question was?
It's like validating it with other languages.
Yeah, so ImageMagick actually can be used with, Node.js. I think is kind of an extension for that. And I don't know, I never tried that actually, but I don't know if it translates like one-to-one to PHP, or if it's more close to what exists for, for ImageMagick itself. So yeah.
Perfect. And apart from that, how is your first time in India, like changing 4 flights? You find it how you like people in India?
Man, this is so good. I mean, apart from the flights, but I was actually, super excited to be here, and you just forget about the 4 flights, 40 hours, and it just works out. But here is so incredible. I mean, the hotel we are, like that you guys organized for us, the food, everything, the people, like I can't find anything to complain actually if I try.
Don't go back.
I have a family back home actually, 2 kids and a wife, so yeah, maybe they can come here, yeah.
Thank you, Mathias.
Yeah, thank you.
You have to